Welcome back to Rifleman 2.0, and today I brought you a pretty sweet little pistol, relatively inexpensive and pretty well unknown. It's none other than the Stoeger Cougar 8040F. Check this thing out with me. So the Stoeger Cougar has a kind of interesting story behind it. So the Stoeger company is a Turkish subsidiary of the Beretta company and ultimately ended up taking over production of the Cougar series. So the original Beretta Cougars, the 8000 series, the Beretta 8000 Cougars, were actually supposed to be a follow-up to the original Beretta M92s. And a lot of similarities followed along with this new model series. The 8000s were a hammerless, but you could also get them with the hammer. And they share a lot of the same features as the original M92, such as being a double single action with the ambidextrous safety / decocker on there. The Cougar series was originally designated for the new and more powerful 40 Smith & Wesson. Well, this didn't really work out very well for Beretta. They weren't very popular. So they were only in production in the year of 1994, and then ultimately the Turkish subsidiary, Stoeger, ended up taking over production. And they produced the Stoeger Cougar 8000 series. These were produced in 9mm, 357 SIG, 45 ACP, and in 40 Smith & Wesson. Now mine is a 40 Smith & Wesson and it's designated the 8040F, which makes a lot of sense, 8000 and the 40 Smith & Wesson 8040. And these come with standard 11 round magazines, but they also accept 10 round magazines, so they're kind of interchangeable. The fun thing about the 40 Smith & Wesson, you can also interchange the same magazines with 357 SIG. So that works out pretty nice. If you have, I guess you have a need for two of these, you can interchange the magazines if you have a 357 SIG version of this. So it's a neat little pistol, and I've been carrying this thing for a very long time. When I was working private security, this was my primary sidearm. And it worked out pretty good. I mean, she's accurate, as you'll see in the video, and the recoil is very manageable, so it's really not that much of a thumper, but it's definitely more powerful than a 9mm. Now the Stoeger Cougar is kind of an interesting gun. It is a little bit of a more inexpensive gun, but it's very well made. This thing is about as heavy as a brick, I'll tell you that right now. So when I used to carry this thing regularly, I knew it. It is limited in capacity. It only goes between 10 and 11 round magazines, but they pack plenty of punch with those 40 Smith & Wessons, let me tell you. Now, like I mentioned before, the 8000 series carried over from the original M92s with the ambidextrous safety / decocker. Alright, flip it up, and it's not loaded obviously for the demo, but you can flip it from both sides. So with that decocker activated, trigger doesn't do nothing. It's got a full trigger disconnect. With that decocker up, it'll actuate the double action. And just like any other double single action, after you fire that first shot, it'll set the hammer back, and then you'll be back in single action mode. Not too shabby. Now, to say that this thing's a workhorse is an understatement. Every bit of this is steel. That's why it weighs so darn much. The only thing that is not steel is the grips, and these are like a rubber, plastic, polymer kind of, but I mean they're pretty comfortable for what they are. I mean, they're just regular flat screw-in grips. I'm sure you could get better ones like some Hogues or something, but these are the standard ones that come from Stoeger, obviously with the symbol on there, and they work out pretty good. Now the sights are very basic. They're just fixed adjustable rear and front sight, so if you're not shooting straight with it, you can always drift it, and then you'll get this thing back in shooting order. Now, one thing I don't like about the Stoeger is the trigger. It's got a stupid amount of creep on there. Now, obviously, not loaded, no magazine, so let me show this to you. Alright, so on the double action, watch this. There's that much already. You can see it before you even get any kind of pressure, right? Now watch. Yeah, so that took about 12,000 years, but that's using the double action, but super creepy right there. Now, if you're doing it in the single action, it's not so bad, but it's still, look at that, still pretty creepy. I wouldn't call it crisp by any means. Look how far that's going. But, so there's that. Now, a thing that I do like is when you're on slide lock, the slide release right there, it's nice and fat, so it's super easy. Bam. You can just press it and it goes. Like, super easy. There are some negative aspects to the pistol, but all in all, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Now, when I was talking about magazines, they do come with 10 and 11 round magazines, and they're pretty handy, although comparatively, so if you look like a newer Glock or something there, you're looking at like 15, 19 rounds. This is pretty low capacity, but these were produced 30 years ago, so give it a little bit of leeway, won't you? But for ammunition today, we're going to be using some Blazer 165 grain aluminum case. I know, aluminum case sucks, but it's what was available on the store shelf, so that's what we're using. So I've shot these before, they shoot just fine, I don't see any problems. So I'm going to have 3 loaded up magazines of 10 rounds each. I know I got 2 magazines that are 11, but just to keep things consistent, I just loaded them up to 10. And we're going to be shooting at 3 ranges, 5 yards, 10 yards, and 15 yards with 5-shot groups on the big target down there, and we'll see how she does from the standing position. Okay, so we'll start off real basic at 5 yards with the Stoeger Cougar, and we're going to go ahead and get her loaded up. Now, right now I have the decocker is activated on there, and I kind of like this feature where you can load it. Okay, I got one in the pipe now, and this is holster safe, so I can walk around with this all day and I don't have to worry about accidental discharge because that trigger is disconnected from the decocker. But if you're going to carry this thing, you have to remember that, because if that decocker is activated on there and it's staying put in place, when you come out of the holster, you have to train yourself to actuate that decocker to get it into firing mode. Otherwise, you're going to be carrying this thing around with the hammer down, of course, with the decocker off. So if you're going to carry it, bear that in mind. But here on the range, that doesn't really factor in. So I'm going to do 5 shots at 5 yards here. Now that first one is going to be that heavy double action pull, and then each follow on, all the 4 shots following that, are going to be single action. So let's see how she does. And there's 5 quick shots right there. I'll hit the decocker on there, make it safe, and let's go see how we did. So there's 5 quick shots right there, and that is one ugly group. I know I can shoot a whole lot better than that, so I'm going to redo this, but I got 2 of them in the same hole. There, and these ones there. I'm going to pasty these up and reshoot that. Okay, so let's slow her down a little bit, and we'll reshoot it at the 5 yards. Not that great. Well, I'm not showcasing this very well. That's an ugly group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can tell you exactly why that's happening. And I knew it when I was doing it. I'm anticipating the recoil. Well, the fact of the matter is, there is no recoil. It's pretty well managed. So I'm going to back it up, and hopefully she shoots a little bit better than that. Well, I should say I should shoot a little bit better than that. The gun's doing just fine, I know that. Now I can tell you guys for a fact, what you just experienced was bona fide shooter error. That was me anticipating the recoil on this thing, so yeah, it was my fault that the groups were like that. And yes, you guys who insist on seeing me shoot from a rest, yes, you will be absolutely correct. It would eliminate that error right there. But for your average shooter out here standing on the shooting line, you might experience that. I mean, it's a very real shooter error that you're gonna have. So taking this thing into account, because of the weight and because of the way it's made, the 40 Smith & Wesson, potent as it is, the recoil is pretty minimal. So I'm gonna slow down a bit here at the 10 yards, and I'm gonna take better shots with this thing, and I anticipate it's gonna be better. Here we go. I anticipated the shot on that one. Yeah, there it is. So that'll go to show you right there. I did it again. I did the shooter error one more time. I anticipated the shot, and that's the one that went wild. 2 of them, they kind of went off canter a little bit, but yeah, the 3 that went in there, they went exactly where I was aiming. So 6 shots, 3 in the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and 6. So let's shoot it one more time at 10 yards and we'll see if we can improve that. All right, back at 10 yards, doing the second volley of 5 shots. And there's 5. And there we are again at 10 yards. So 1, 2, 3. Pretty sure I only shot 5. 1, 2, 3. That's probably an old one, maybe. 4 in the bull, but I'm just gonna count it as 3, and then 2 drops. So that's it at 10 yards. All right, so moving on, I bumped it back to the 15, and I'm thinking some of the issues we're running into is just me. Hey, every once in a while we got a bad shooting day, but we're still hitting pretty much right there in that primary area. We're still hitting like real close to the bullseye anyway. So even with human error, the gun's shooting just fine. It's still plenty minute a man at 10 yards and 5 yards. So here at 15, I don't expect it's gonna be any different. So let's give it a go. Yep, let's go check the target. Okay, obviously half of them went into the bowl, the rest of them kind of went around. I'm not satisfied with this. I'm shooting pretty crappy from the offhand today. I'm going to swap this target out. Obviously this is getting too beat. I'm starting to lose track of where things are hitting, but you'll see where they impact on the video. So I'm going to get out the rest, and yeah, we're going to shoot it from the rest. Screw it. Okay, back at the 5 yards. You know, it's pretty hard to shoot cocky when you're shooting like crap. So I got the rest out here. We'll see how this thing's shooting without all that human error. Yeah, dead on the money. All right. Maybe you guys are onto something with bench shooting. And that's what happens when you remove human error. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's nice and pretty. That's the gun's potential. All right, here we are, 10 yards rested. How much you want to bet we're gonna have a similar result? Alright, so I didn't like how it was looking because I kind of felt myself flinching a little bit, so I fired off 2 magazines, 10 rounds in total, and you could tell which ones I was flinching and you could tell which ones I was shooting it correctly. And like I said, I sent 10 rounds at it this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, somewhere in that area. But yeah, it's all focused in there. Looking pretty good. Okay, and now we're at the 15. So based on what we've been seeing, it's gonna be way better than what it was. Nice thing is the 40 Smith & Wesson is so hot, these shoot flat. So at this range, I predict I'm still gonna be hitting somewhere in the bull by point of aim without any issue. And something to be said about pistols too, magazine fed ones. As much as I like my wheel guns, just dropping a magazine and reloading that quick, it's so much more convenient. But anyway, here we are, 15 yards. Whew. Certainly does bounce right off of that darn thing, but it's hitting pretty good down there. Just to keep it consistent, I keep resetting the decocker so I got that first shot's the long pull, but you know what, screw it. I'm gonna aim for the lower section of the target with this next 5, all on single action. See if there's a difference there. Probably not. What was that? I don't know what the heck was going on with that volley, but whatever. There we go at 15. Let's go check it out. And here we are at the 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the first volley. And then I don't know what that's all about, but 1, 2, 3, 4 on the second volley, starting off with the single action only. So I mean, clearly from the bench, yeah, it's just shooting way better. Okay, so there you have it. That's how the Stoeger shoots in the offhand with human error. And from the rested position, you can see clearly from the rested position, I was shooting way better. I mean, the groups are way smaller than what they were before. Human error does play a part into things. I mean, it is what it is. You guys have pointed it out, so, you know, figure might as well just show you with the rested position also. So you can clearly see there's a measurable difference. So now let's have a little bit of fun with it. I set up 2 swingers down there, 2 bowling pins, and 2 shaving creams. I'm going to be going from 5, 10, and 15 yards with 3 5-round magazines. So I'm going to force a reload, and I'm going to go 2 on each swinger. Then I'm going to go after the bowling pins. As I'm moving back, I'm going to put the GoPro on, and then from the long distance, around 15 yards, I'm going to go for the shaving cream cans. So with 15 rounds, let's see if I can do it. There's one. Oh, I think I got the second one in the weeds. Let's find out. Yep, so moving steadily backwards, the Stoeger held its own pretty good. Let's see if I got this last one. I took a pop at it. Yep, looks like I got it. But you know what? Just for good measure, ooh, oh yeah, I definitely got it. Look on the bottom there. Just for good measure, we're gonna go and set her up there. Well, there you have it, guys. The Stoeger Cougar, it's a fun shooter. It's built solid, it does the job. Clearly it can shoot, even if you can't. Hey, we all have our bad days. But anyway, yeah, I actually really enjoyed doing that backing up shoot and shooting the multiple targets there. I got a couple markers out, if you didn't see them in the video, marking off the 5-yard increments. So as I was passing them, I knew where I was at, but otherwise, you know, there were unknown ranges. But the darn thing shoots so flat, it didn't really even matter. 15 yards, 5 yards, it's hitting the same place. So yeah, it's a good shooter. I like the 40 Smith & Wesson too. It's a nice hot round. They're not cheap, I'll tell you that, but they're good shooters. So anyway, guys, I had a lot of fun. Hope you did too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time.